G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the west side of the map, we have Lucifron7, who is playing as the English. His opponent, who spawns on the opposite side of the map, we've got Capoch, who is playing as the Holy Roman Empire. Ladies and gentlemen, this is part of N4C. If you are unfamiliar with N4C, well, let me introduce you. $100,000, 8 of the best players in the world, and of course, yours truly, casting. Yes, we are heading to Germany. It is going to be a LAN event, and these players are fighting it out to get a piece of that pie. They want to put their name forward. They want to put their best foot forward. All that good stuff. But we're going to be taking a look at this game. Now, this game is actually not the first game in the series. In fact, this isn't even the second game in the series between Lucifron versus Capoch. This is the third game in the series between these two players. So this is the deciding game. So whoever wins this is going to be going on to the final round of the qualifiers, and we'll just simply play against one other person, and if they win that, they're going to Berlin. Now, you might be wondering, Drongo, why are you only casting one game? Why are you only casting this game in particular? Well, ladies and gentlemen, and MBs, that is because I have heard great things about this game, and I'm hoping that it is going to come to the level that you know to expect from Age of Empires 4, because I don't know about you guys, but I've been enjoying a lot of the games recently. We're continuing to see the meta evolve, the meta shift, and I know some people don't like the word meta, but, I mean, we are seeing beautiful gameplay changes. We are seeing the rise of the crossbow, the rise of the trebuchet. We are seeing units that have been typically underused or even rarely used or even never used in some circumstances finally coming to the forefront and finally actually being used and being incredibly effective. So I'm looking forward to what we see today. Lucifron7, one of the world's best players coming out from Spain. Capoch on the other side, a huge Age of Empires 2 player. I want to say Argentina. Am I correct in saying that? Am I correct in saying Argentina? A little bit dangerous assuming somebody's nationality, but I don't know. I just feel like it's an Argentina. But I'll correct myself later if that is not the case. But yeah, that is my sneaking suspicion. But Capoch now going to be coming in with his 6 sheep nice and early, bringing those in. Now keep in mind his opponent, Lucifron, did actually go for a double scout opening, and this is kind of rare to see the English do. Typically, okay, you need to think about it from like the beginning of the game, because as I mentioned, whenever you're heading into a game, you're having a plan. I'm playing on Hill and Dale. I'm playing as the English. I am going to be playing against the Holy Roman Empire. What am I going to do? Great question. So already from the beginning, you're thinking about, you know, formulating this plan. And Lucifron, playing as the English, well, he doesn't need to go for professional scouts. So that less incentivizes him to be going for a second scout. Because if you're going for 2 scouts at the beginning of the game, well, then you can very easily use that second scout to go into professional scouts. But it's a bit of a gamble here as the English, because he's not going to need to do that. So it's like this second scout is purely for scouting. Kind of wild. Kind of wild. Lucifron going down with the Council Hall, though. No real surprises there. We have rarely seen other landmarks come out, but it doesn't seem like we'll be watching that today. Capoch on the other side, going for the Archon Chapel. Both of these civilizations have very streamlined landmarks, I would say. Archon Chapel into the Regnitz Cathedral, and then, of course, the Council Hall into the King's Palace. So I wouldn't expect anything different. And I guess even when it comes to the Imperial Age, you've got the Berkshire Palace over on one side, and then you've got the Palace of Swabia on the other. So, I mean, we can already predict what is going to happen when it comes to the landmarks these players are going to be using this game. So not a lot of variability there. And you know what, devs, if you're watching this, I would put it to you. Hey, let's write that down. Let's do that. Let's put that meeting for Monday, and let's talk about how we can make these other landmarks that civilizations have got more viable. How do we make them more viable? Because as soon as we make them, the other landmarks more viable, we make the game more fun, because there's more diversity in strategy. There's more diversity in the options that you've got available to you. So let's talk about that on Monday. I love that I pretend that I am like on the dev team and I'm just asking them to pencil something down for Monday. And I think I do it quite a bit, actually. I think we penciled in Mongols for last Monday. This Monday, it's landmarks. Let's make landmarks more fun. Well, let's make landmark diversity more fun. But Lucifron now going to be aging up. We'll have a look and see exactly what he does as he ages up. You can see he's already got the mining camp up towards the north. Doesn't look like he's gone for anything too crazy except for a forward barracks. And this is quite an interesting barracks that's coming out here. So we've got the longbowman that is going to be coming out. And looks like a scout is... He's like blocking just a single pillar that is in there. Manages to pull it out. I think that villager is going to come back and heal up that wall indeed. Or not heal up that wall, but fill up that wall. He does. So he manages to get the wall in on the front. But Capoch now or rather, Lucifron now does have this barracks out at the front, so it could always go into spears, but we can see that he's heading out with a villager, and I'm very curious to see what he's going to be doing here. But let's talk a little bit about how this game is going to unfold, at least how we can expect this game to unfold. So, obviously, our Holy Roman Empire player, it is imperative that he gets up to the 3rd age and that he collects his relics. So we'll do a little bit of an assessment. We'll see what the relics are looking like. So far it's looking pretty balanced. You've got one relic that sits right in the middle of the map. You've got a second one that's pretty in the middle as well. Third one, which is kind of in the middle, a little bit more favored towards Capoche. Up towards the north, this one definitely favored towards Lucifron. And then down towards the south, another one favored towards Lucifron. But, I mean, overall, you'd still be pretty happy with that. If I was an administrator for a tournament, I would be looking at that. But I'd say, you know what, that's fair. That's perfectly fair. I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead. But look at this. Lucifron coming forward with that villager. You thought he was going to make an outpost. You thought he was going to make a barracks. You thought he was going to make houses. That's a wood chopping villager. That is a wood chopping villager, and he is going to be chopping through. And I mean, this is the consequence of the walls that are happening right here. So I like to do what are called hard walls. That's where I don't wall to the wood line. I just wall directly to the what do you call this? What's this thing, guys? Help me. What is this? What is that right there? It's a ledge, a rock ledge, something like that. That's where I prefer to wall, just because then you can't actually be losing, or you can't be sort of intruded upon. And now you can see the reaction that has to happen for Capoche just because of that, just simply because he did not wall across here, the cliff. Thank you guys. Thanks for helping me out there. Simply because he didn't wall off at the cliff, he now is under threat. Like, these walls basically just don't exist. And, you know, he has learnt a very valuable lesson, Capoche has. But Capoche almost, I say almost going up to the next stage, is really not. He's not looking the prettiest, I'll be honest with you guys. Villagers going down there. He's lost quite a few. We see 1, 2, what looks to be 3 villagers on the ground, and Archer going to be going down as well. A little bit of a stock take reveals 23 villagers for him at the moment versus 26 for Lucifron. So Lucifron definitely sneaking out or irking out a little bit of an economic lead already, but you can see the outpost that he's starting is just being so sneaky as well. Capoche spots this, and he could definitely stop that if he wanted to. In fact, I don't know why he's not stopping that. Needs to be moving out these villagers, and now you can see, or rather these archers, forces that villager to go back. As soon as he takes out this villager, this attack should be shut down. It does remain on 4 health, and he's got to be careful about coming out too far. In fact, those are only scouts. They're not horsemen, so not a particularly difficult position to be in, but we continue to see Capoche under significant threat at the front of his base as Lucifron pushes in around the back. It does look like that villager does go down. We managed to catch it on the back side out towards that eastern angle, but Capoche, I mean, he's maintaining his position, but I'm a bit concerned for the food income. We talked about professional scouts a little bit earlier. There is no mill. Actually, I take that back. There is a mill for Capoche, but no professional scouts has come in just yet. The fortunate thing about professional scouts is it allows you to take this food right here, this food down here, and bring it under the safety of your town center. And it's kind of important against the English because these guys have got so much range on their longbows, enabling them to just circle around constantly, prevent you from gathering. Even if you had villagers right here, they would be shooting at you. So really smart of Capoche to be over on that side. But we'll take a look at how he's doing back in his base. Lucifron coming in with a double mill here. So mill next to the berries, mill on top of the deer. He's looking very happy, very healthy. I feel like singing that song. Good for you, you're happy and healthy. DMCA. Second villager now going to be coming in. Obviously, he spots out this wall on the south side of the base. Also does pose a potential threat here because he is not walling. He's not doing a hard wall. He's not walling at the cliff where he should be. But speaking of cliffs, it looks like Lucifron going to be forced off, stuck between a rock and a hard place, or stuck between a bow and a bad place. Yeah, not looking pretty for the longbows. Unfortunately, they are going to all be going down. So Lucifron's attack definitely stopped, at least for now, neutralized for now. Wall's going to be coming in nice and aggressive from Lucifron, so he's looking to actually seal in his opponent. And this is a smart move because Capoche has already looked to wall in this position. So he's going to think that this is walled in, this is safe, and it is. But what he doesn't realize is he's not going to be able to get things out, and that's the big sort of buzzkill. But it looks like he's done the right thing up towards this northern position. Has gone for a hard wall. I think he's still probably going to be able to get a wall in here. Lucifron, if he does try, there we go. Lucifron putting it down as we are watching. So going to really be trying to wall in his opponent. If he really wanted to be mean, he could definitely secure up a nice little wall here as well, across like that. But we'll see how he plays it out. It looks like another push coming in. A couple longbows out the front. I mean, doesn't really need to wall this one up because there's no real threat of anything happening out this front without him knowing about it. But we'll continue paying attention to Capoche and see how he's doing. You can see he's stacked up quite a few resources at the moment. Has managed to secure up a mill on the hunt. Has picked up wheelbarrow as well. So we're sitting at the 10th minute. He's already got that wheelbarrow. So relatively early wheelbarrow coming through. We'll have a look at what other options or what other economic technologies he's got access to. So we do see wheelbarrow coming through at the moment. So you have to be researched. Horseman out on the map. Just looking to do a bit of scouting is what it seems. But we'll check in with his opponent, Lucifron. We'll see what kind of upgrades he's got. There we go. So it doesn't look like no lumber upgrade, no mining upgrade, no food upgrades at this stage either. But I'll be honest with you guys. I'm really enjoying the way that the meta is shifting. So the English as a civilization are becoming a lot more popular, and I'm not really sure what has driven this, but I don't know about you guys, but I've just noticed the English are a very popular pick now. They seem to be getting picked up all the time, quick match, tournament games, so they definitely feel like they're rising up the ranks. I think that after we get through the qualifiers here for N4C, we're definitely going to have to do a tier list pre-N4C. I'm curious where the English are going to be fitting into it, because now that I think about it, you know, we are seeing them become more prominent. We're seeing them win a lot more games, becoming very relevant on maps that they never used to be particularly relevant. And, I mean, Lucifron doing a great job of demonstrating why that is. Back towards the base now of Lucifron. Villager going to be poked very, very slowly. He shouldn't lose this villager. This villager should stay alive. Let's see if he manages to keep it alive. Indeed, he does. And that looks like he might be able to take down the horseman as well. Horseman going down. Very unfortunate death there for the horseman. It feels bad, man. It feels really bad when that happens. The horseman goes down. Villager stays alive. He's probably going to have to wall this up here as well. Maybe throw in a little gate. But he's got it all open for now. In fact, why would you need to wall it if you're walling in your enemy? Makes a lot of sense. Lucifron doing the right thing. The smart thing. But we'll check in now with how Capoche is doing. He's reached the third age, the castle age. That big Regnitz Cathedral going to be going down. Of course, Lucifron does scout this out. He was well aware of the age up coming through. And now we're going to be looking towards these relics and seeing how many of these he manages to capture up. Now, he is aware up towards the north of this wall. This wall, it ain't good. This is not good for Bitcoin. But a bit of a push now coming in as well. Lucifron really keeping Capoche in his base. You can see the archers or longbows firing over the forest there. They did manage to get a scout or a horseman in behind. And now Capoche really looking to try and solidify his position here with a knight. But the main issue for him is that he is going to need to get out on the map sooner rather than later. And there is a lot of problems that he's going to have to look at. So obviously securing the relics is the big thing for him. Lucifron has done a great job at keeping him in the second age for an extended period of time. He's done a great job of locking him in. He's got these hard walls that are cliff-based on both sides of him as well. And now finally sealing up the walls in the middle as well, which is going to lock him in his base completely. And Capoche is going to be stuck in there because he's going to be rattling around his, you know, it's that whole concept of let me in, or that whole meme, but instead of like let me in, it's let me out. And he's just going to continue to get sort of funneled into these longbows. It's not until we get some, I don't think he's going to be able to break through this until there's siege. Men-at-arms aren't going to... Like, nothing is going to be able to hit these because the longbows are just going to shred it completely. And I think behind this, you know, Lucifron can take a very methodical approach, go up to the third age, look to take the relics himself. But do keep in mind that we may potentially see attacks coming out on the flanks, and that's exactly what we've got. Men-at-arms going to be coming out. Knights are also coming out, but look what we've got behind that. Lucifron not skipping a beat and going to be dropping down a second layer of palisade walls. We may potentially see the same thing coming up towards the north as we hear that scout just constantly calling out, so damn annoying, you scout. Stop doing that, please. But I mean, he's doing it for the right reason. But keep in mind, when he comes down here and he brings all these units, then it's going to potentially leave him open up here. Going to potentially leave him open up in this position. And if I'm honest with you guys, I probably would have just sent like a handful of units down here and then sent everybody else up towards this position. Maybe with like my 3 prelates ready to go. Because if you take a look from Lucif or from Capoche's perspective, he knows about this relic. He knows about this one. He knows about this one. You know where the 3 relics are. So you come up here, you bring your 3 prelates, you bring all your army, you try and break through. And speaking of breakthrough, it looks like now Lucifron going to be under a bit of attack here as the knights get out on top. You can see they've got that 4 armor in coming through. All of those men-at-arms going to be coming through for Capoche here. He's looking pretty decent, actually. The big thing to note is there's no +1 upgrade coming through just yet, so still doing a lot of damage here. +1 still not actually coming through for Lucifron either. So only taking 2 damage a pop here, and that might not seem like a lot, but when you start stacking up the fact that there's, what, 26 longbows in here? Let's do a quick count. 24. I was close. I'm sure 2 of them have died throughout the battle. He manages to clean it up without creating too much of a hassle. Back towards the main gates, you can see a man-at-arms going to be slowly taking that one down, and Lucifron really looking to take control of this game incredibly well, and forcing that fight there from his opponent. Now towards the base of Lucifron, there might be potential risks coming out as Capoche breaks out of his shell and says, I'm going to start harassing you if you're not careful. And it definitely seems like he might not be being careful. Might not be being careful. He might not be careful. He might not. It may appear that his carefulness is not at the sufficient level. That's the best I can think of. Oh, jeez. He's not doing too well when it comes to his resources in the bank. You can see he's still got quite a way to age up. But walls still under attack. When we check in now with Capoche, you can see that he's under significant attack on this front. The Spear's going to be doing their best to try and screen in for the longbows and doing an actual pretty decent job. Does have the +1 finally coming in now, but +1 has come in for Lucifron, so still going to be doing that same 2 damage, so breaking even there. Scout going to be slowly working on that mill. But Men-at-Arms, he's actually broken through this wall without anybody realizing, or at least me. There was no way for him to get through, so obviously he's chopped through, and that's been the way that he's gone. But now it looks like a re-wall has come in. Lucifron actually walling in his enemy completely. This is where it starts to get a little bit concerning, because he's now behind the walls. Walls in the villager, keeps that safe, makes sure now he's going to get stone walls up. But keep in mind, obviously, those stone walls, they're not on the safety of a... They're not on the safety of a cliff face. They can potentially just be chopped around. So that is always something to be cognizant of. But Lucifron doing a great job of keeping Capoche inside his walls here and really just driving it home now. We'll take a look at how far he is away from that castle age. You can see still sitting over here, still just sitting in feudal age and very happy with this. I'm curious to see what his economy is like at the moment. We'll check. He's got no specialized pick, no double broad axe, no wheelbarrow in, so no economic upgrades yet. Just sitting on the 1 town center, just very happily chirping away, dropping out 1 villager at a time, and continuing to bring out units. You can see the spear is going to be able to pick up a knight across the field as the longbows look to potentially come out and do some damage. Not having a lot of luck, and this scout actually in a bit of a bad spot. Speaking of bad spots, though, it looks like the longbows are going to get chased down, so a bit of a bad trade here coming out for Lucifron. Capoche beginning to pull a bit of a lead in the score, but still keeping his head above water at this point. 42 villagers for Capoche versus the 53 for Lucifron, so a villager lead is definitely in the favor of Lucifron at this point. But keep in mind, Capoche is an age ahead, and once he gets those 3 relics, it's going to be very hard to stop him. If he gets those 3 relics, though. It is all about those 3 relics. And I think players are slowly working that out. I don't think you can ever fight against a Holy Roman Empire player knowing that those relics are going to get taken. You have to do everything in your power to prevent them from coming out. And this is exactly what we see Lucifron doing here. Everything about the way that Lucifron is playing, it is to prevent those relics from coming up. And now it looks like the front gate might actually get broken down here. We do actually see that the stone wall down towards this position wasn't actually completed. So didn't get all the way up. But now the men-at-arms on the front line going to be able to clean up this little pocket of units out towards the front. You can see 8 villagers are building up the King's Palace on the back line, I would suspect. Let's take a look and see if we can find that. On the wood line, it looks like it's going to be. And it looks like Lucifron now has managed to push out. And finally, at the 18th minute, the prelate runs so happily. So, like, he has seen a friend that he hasn't seen in a very long time. He's all the way, you know, he's from Italy. And this friend, he's seen him in France. He's like, oh, John, how are you doing, old pal? Actually, he's Holy Roman. 9, John! Okay, sorry. All my German friends out there. Sorry. I shouldn't have done that. But he does manage to pick up the relic, heading towards the middle. Bit of a curious spot here. I think this might actually be walled off in this... that should be fine, actually, to get through. So a bit curious why he's throwing away the prelate like that. Does actually go down, gets picked off. Obviously, Lucifron knows that he needs to stop these from being collected. I want to check in on Lucifron and see whether we've actually got monasteries being thrown down. That is the big question for me, because Lucifron has walled in his opponent very successfully. He's only just broken through. You want to know what the big mistake was for Lucifron? Honestly, it was diving into his enemy's base. I don't know why he did this. He was making a play. You can see that there's a single sheep that remains in there. But, like, there was no reason he needed to do that. He could have just, like, he pushed into here, just run back. That's fine. You just want to hold the front. You just want to keep a significant or a sufficient amount of units out just to protect your existing walls. That's really it. Get yourself up to castle age. Take the relics for yourself. And now we've got knights in the base of Lucifron as well. Capoche going to be able to pick up a couple of villages at the same time, attacking on the front with his men-at-arms. You can see all these bad boys out and about, and another knight heading up towards him, men-at-arms trickling out. Looks like a second prelate going to be coming out, trying to relive through the experience that his brother before him went through, and try and secure up that relic. A few longbows going to be out here and looking to protect those relics. First relic has made its way back to the Ragnits. Let's take a look. There she is, nice and safe. Second relic now getting picked up in the middle of the map. Third relic up towards the north, still yet to be picked up, but we'll take a look. There's the third prelate coming out now, so it could just be going for this safer one. But you can see the way that Capoche, or rather that Lucifron is playing. He really knows about the relics and is trying his best to stop his opponent from getting it. But just that one fatal mistake, and I think it's very interesting because Lucifron is considered by many to be one of the best players in the game. We're watching, you know, he currently sits, I think, at rank 18 on the ladder. And he very rarely makes mistakes. But even though, you know, he is that good, he still makes a mistake like that, you know, overextending into the base of his enemy, losing his entire mass, having his walls break down at the front. There was a whole bunch of things that went wrong there. And speaking of going wrong, it looks like Men-at-Arms going to be in the base of Capoche now, and he's going to be looking to potentially do a bit more harassment, taking down a villager down on this western entrance. Not having a lot of luck now as the prelate continues to move out towards the relic. He's probably going to be looking to Wallalol immediately. Oh, I don't think he's going to have time. The wolf coming in on the action as well, not the wolf. Wolf looking to get a bit of a bite, and the prelate does go down. Wolf also getting in now, deciding, hey, I'm going to animation cancel as well. Look at me go. Look at him go. He's doing work. Damn, girl. Boar? No. Turn around and fight him like a man, you wolf. Yeah. I didn't think you had it in you. We'll take a look at how his opponent, Capoche, is doing. Capoche doing very well. He's very happy with the two relics. He's got the third relic in his sights. He's aware that there could be a fourth relic on the table as well. He's going out for that one as well. So keeping his opponent on in multiple spaces, in multiple places, and really hitting him from different fronts. At the same time, inside the base now of Capoche, there's going to be a knight back here, hitting away at some of those villagers. Unfortunately, looks like it is going to be going down, losing its life, but definitely needs to secure up these angles. Top side definitely looks secure. Bottom side, not so secure. Middle, definitely not secure. Prelate once again going down up towards the north. I think the prelate may have gone down again. At least there was no prelate up there. I don't think there was a prelate up there. There's definitely... I mean, he's done a great job in just picking off these prelates. He's probably just... Yeah, he's full-time making prelates right now. 72 villages for Lucifron. 72 villages? Hold on. Okay. That's 72 villages for Lucifron. 50 for Capoche. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. But villages continuing to go down for Lucifron at this point. King's Palace itself, not too many villages inside. Only 8, but it doesn't have a lot of space in there. But just continuing to try and attack around the map, dotting it out. But the fight is really, at the moment, just focused on these relics. And you can see this knight just going to be running straight for the prelate. Yep, just going straight for him. I thought he was like, hey, you're meant to kill me, friend. Come back here. Didn't go straight for the prelate, so... he probably wasn't watching. I'm sure if he was watching, he would have gone for it. But now going to be picking up that third relic up towards the north. That should be the third leg of Exodia. You know, I often talk about this Exodia, the concept of Exodia, the unbeatable combination, and this is really what it is. So there's 4 pieces to the Holy Roman Exodia. The first 3 are all those relics. The fourth piece, is the Palace of Swabia. So he's going to need to get there. I mean, at this point, it definitely seems like it's going to be easy for him to do. Actually picking up a 4th relic out here. Getting a keep down as well is a curious position or decision for him to make. I really don't know how I feel about this. I honestly think now that, like, once you've secured up your 3rd relic, wall up, get up to the 4th age. That's really all you need to do as Capoche. That is your biggest focus right now. Transition over to farms. Make sure that you've got plenty of food income. As he's doing right now, great. Kill this spy, because for anybody unaware, sheeps do spy if you do not kill them. So you need to kill off your spies. 4th relic actually going to be coming back now. I think he's got 3 in the Regnits already. No, he's got 2 in the Regnits. 3rd one going to be coming down. But Capoche has won the relic war, and that is half the battle. So, you know, they often talk about knowledge being half the battle. It's not. It's the relics. The relics are half the battle. So if I mean, Capoche needs to be able to close out this game now. How does he do that? He goes into the Palace of Swabia. That's going to be his main thing, and then just look to hit a huge economic stride from there. His enemy currently sitting on 2 town centers, at least what I would assume is 2 town centers, and the Palace of Swabia are going to be able to outmatch that completely, but continuing to see struggles towards the front as another prelate is coming out. Might potentially be looking for these sacred sites. That is always an option. But beautiful massive men-at-arms beginning to build in here. Knights coming out as well. I really wish we could see some more walls coming out from for Capoche. Gosh. So just if he could wall up here, this would be great. So I'd love to see like a wall coming in from this side, and then, you know, just throw in a nice little gate right there. Because then you stop this. Like, this has just been happening all freaking game, and it's kind of getting annoying at this point. Now, I appreciate these guys like, they're playing absolutely crazy. They got a lot of stuff going on right now. They got attacks happening all over the map, but like, we have just consistently seen a single knight on, you know, 30% health running into the wood line and killing villagers. It's like, it needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. Finally, he's doing it. Thank you, Capoche, for listening. I appreciate it a lot, my friend. We'll check in with Lucifron. We'll see how he's doing, because I think he's learned his lesson. No, he hasn't, actually. He's got walls up to the north, walls down to the south, but over to the west, still a bit of a gap in between those two. But now it looks like Lucifron continuing to add in farms as well. He's sitting at 130 population, actually popped, and it's kind of weird to be popped, I'll be honest, at this point in the game. 5th relic? Was that the 5th relic right there? I'm pretty sure that's the 5th relic. He's got 3 back here. That's 100%. 4th age now going to be coming through for Capoche. We just talked about this. Another raid coming through. Wall up over here, Capoche, as well, please. I mentioned it earlier to wall here. You did that. Now, if we could... maybe if I draw it. Wall here, Capoche. Oh my god, it actually works. Okay. All right, Capoche. Whew. All right, they call me the paint god for a reason. Okay, Capoche. I'm coaching you from beyond the grave. Pick up this. Whew. I'm feeling a... There was too much oxygen, like, exhausted from my body. I'm feeling a little bit lightheaded after that. I can't believe that, dude. Oh my lord, dude. That was pretty... that was pretty good, dude. Oh my god. That's got to go down as one of my favorite things in history. I can't think of, like, a better moment for me with Age of Empires than that right there. Oh my god. That was... that was really, really good. Oh gosh. Sacred Site's now getting captured for Capoche. He looks to be capturing the one in the north. Already looked to have taken the second one in the south. Now, keep in mind, there is a 3rd Sacred Site down here. People often forget about this bad boy because he's so far away from everybody else. But I assure you, they will not forget about him. Forces of Lucifron now continuing to move out. We'll take a look at his composition. You can see 16 crossbows, 13 archers, 14 or 11 knights rather. So a decent amount here. Continuing to get attacked on a number of different walls, it seems. And Sacred Site almost neutralized. Look at how low that managed to get, and now going to be recharging. You can see just how close it was to getting there. Enemy Sacred Site captured, so it looks like that Sacred Site up towards the north was taken as well. This wall finally coming down, but I mean, the response to this should just be that these walls come in right here. Capoche, do it! Do it, Capoche! I don't think he's going to have the time to do it, unfortunately. And even if he did, he'd probably just get his villages taken out by these units. But now it looks like some reinforcements are going to be coming... Oh, God, let me get that off the screen. Sorry, guys. So reinforcements are going to be coming back and heading towards these units. But I think... it's very curious what Lucifron is doing, because this is the second time he's actually done this. And I don't know how I feel about this. So he's just kind of throwing away his army. He's taking them to a place, almost to a point of no return. And now we see those men-at-arms running in. You can see how fast they're running in as well. Like, they are absolutely meaning to fuck this game. But now those crossbows are going to be unfolding upon the men-at-arms. Is there any mangonels out? I really feel like a mangonel would be quite nice here. Let's check in with Capoche. He does have the siege workshop. Where is that workshop? Nope, that is not the workshop. That is a different building. I'm not sure exactly where that workshop is, but I would love just a mangonel shot landing right here. It would be beautiful. Beautiful concave right now for Lucifron. This is a wonderful fight. Take a look at what you've got right here. You've got units trying their best to squeeze through and just not having any luck. Honestly, if I could, I'd just delete that Arcan Chapel, get it out of there. He's funneled them in perfectly, kept them all in, like, funneled in 2 by 2 by 2. This is incredibly well fought there by Lucifron, but do keep in mind, you're fighting up against elite men-at-arms, and these guys, they don't mess around. And they continue now just to funnel through. Capoche going to continue producing units. You can see he's got at least 5 barrackses, 6 barrackses that are just pumping out these units non-stop here. We'll check in with the front and see exactly what's happening. Looks like double Springalds coming in, or at least one Springald going to be coming in on that keep. Going to be able to take it down. But at the same time, we've got a siege workshop that is coming down. Man, I think this... Oh, no, this is a villager. That villager has been attacking that wall for a long time. Third town center going to get dropped down here for Lucifron. He knows that his enemy, who is now in the 4th age, is going to be producing villagers out the wazoo. And as a result, he also needs to be producing villagers out the wazoo as well. And so to be equalizing in that, or at least trying to keep up, he's going to be adding in that 3rd town center. He's sitting on 126 villagers at the moment, which is about where you want to be. You don't really want to be on that many more than that. 83 villagers for Capoche. And now, what can we really address this at? Well, what can we draw this down to? This is 100% the delay of the relics. Now remember, okay, I mentioned earlier that winning the relic war is winning half of the game here. And Lucifron has unfortunately lost the relic war to Capoche. But what he also did was he delayed the victory of the relic war, which meant that he was able to keep him out of castle age, keep him out of Imperial age, and keep him off that Palace of Swabia. Because as long as that Palace of Swabia is going, there are villagers coming out the wazoo. So with those villagers, obviously it's been delayed. He's sitting on only 88 villagers at the moment. We're 31 minutes through. He should be sitting on 130. He should be very happy 130, 140 villagers right now as the Holy Roman Empire, but he is not. So he has been significantly delayed. But Capoche, I mean, at this point, you kind of feel like Lucifron's doing a pretty decent job at the back here. A single mangonel coming out would absolutely destroy this entire mass. We don't see it. I'm going to check once again. We've actually got a bombard coming in. You can see it's on the front line. So I would really just love it. A single mangonel would clean this up completely. And I love the fact that despite the crossbows, or despite the men-at-arms being so strong against these crossbows, the crossbows are doing incredibly well. Now the villager's going to be forced to garrison. More reinforcements coming down towards this position. He really loves attacking through this angle. Obviously, he can go towards the front as well, but it makes it so much harder to do that, just simply because you're attacking towards the face of your opponent, the front of your opponent, and that's typically something you want to avoid doing. But Lucifron now continuing to attack his opponent. You can see this beautiful micro coming in here as well. So just the way that he's funneling in these units, it does look like he's going to get cleaned up here, but I've said that before. I mean, I'll say it again. Typically, you want to fight in these choke points, so if you can keep your units, your enemy's units in like this, you can watch. You're going to reduce the surface area that they've got access to, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to do it, or at least not opt to do it today. And now it looks like he is going to be able to clean up the men-at-arms once again, but continuing to fight on this Holy Roman Empire production is a very curious decision, but it looks like he's going to be able to get away with it for the moment. A castle now going to be going up for Capoche as well, trying to secure this up even further. And we can see just, unfortunately, how punished Capoche is being just simply for these walls down here. So really neat. It's so important to just secure up those walls when it really comes down to this late game situation. Villagers going to be jumping inside that castle now, and the Landsknecht also going to be jumping in. A few units rallied up towards the north. These knights are out. They've got their +2 upgrades as well. You can see they're nice and healthy, but still just the crossbows remaining. And I would say Lucifron being a very big nuisance to his opponent. 82 villagers, 20 of which are idle at the moment. So realistically, about 60 villagers. Look, still we've got these that are yet to be cleaned up. And compare that over towards Lucifron, who's sitting on 140 villagers uninterrupted. At this point in time, you might think that Capoche was in the lead. He's not. It's Lucifron. Lucifron has just managed to do so much, and it all just comes out to the fact there was no mangonel. A single mangonel would have shut this down. A single mangonel would have completely closed that out. Does so much damage, forces your opponent to retreat. And we didn't see that. We did talk about the fact that there should have been a siege workshop. There was a siege workshop, but it was on the front line. It wasn't making anything. So now we're going to see that Imperial Age coming through for Lucifron. Lucifron going to be dropping down the Berkshire Palace on the 2nd sacred site. Also kind of covering the 3rd sacred site, but not really. I mean, he's kind of going between both. I think this is a very decent position. Lucifron playing this incredibly well at this point. Going to be aging up now, 34 minutes on the mark. And we'll see what he looks to transition to now that he's in the Imperial Age. Whether he looks to keep the crossbows coming, whether he looks to get those upgrades for his knights. We'll take a look and see what he does. Elite crossbows are going to be the name of the game. And it looks like I see some trebuchets coming through. Do we potentially have some shattering projectiles coming through? Is this the new overpowered move that people are doing? Is that what we're seeing? But now it looks like Lucifron continuing to push in towards the base of Capoche. This attack is really not getting shut down. Capoche having a lot of difficulty dealing with this attack and getting punished significantly because of it. under attack on multiple parts of the game. You see the keep going down, getting just destroyed, or the villagers that were making the keep just getting destroyed by the Berkshire Palace. Crossbows continuing to just be naughty, and at the same time, the Knight's going to be looking to run around the top side of the base. You can see the idle villagers just chilling out here. He's on 72 villagers at the moment. He's gone down since we've last seen him. Look at the farms here that are empty. He's sitting on 8 farms right now. This is not looking good for Capoche. He's trying his best to hold on. Keep in mind, the winner of this game, this was a best of 3. We are watching only the final game. So you didn't miss the first game. You didn't miss the second game. I didn't cast those games. The third game is the only one that we've been focusing on, and it is this one. Capoche up against Lucifron. The winner of this game is going to be going through to the finals of the qualifier. For the second qualifiers, rather, and the victor will potentially look at winning their share of $100,000. So incredible stuff now as Lucifron continues posturing. So much damage, and now he's going to have those elite upgrades as well coming through. Elite crossbows, elite knights, now looking to fight his opponent on an equal playing field. And we'll have a look at what upgrades he's got as the villagers do go down. I want to just check and see if we've got a university coming through for him. We do. So we could see biology. We could potentially see incendiary arrows coming through. But now it looks like the men-at-arms once again getting caught in this little chokehold that we've talked about, and he's continuing to do it. So you can see the way that the men-at-arms keep funneling into here. He's done this over and over and over again throughout this game. That men-at-arms just keep funneling in, walking around, and now finally making their way out. It's just, it's incredible. You might not think it's big, but it is so important to be doing this, because every single one of these units here has got an attack that it could be using. All of these crossbows are doing it on cooldown. Every time they fire, they're doing it. But the men-at-arms, they're constantly getting caught in these little chokeholds, and Capoche just isn't appreciating that and fighting him, and subsequently he's fighting him on his own terms, and he's losing. So really unfortunate there. Lucifron doing a great job to sort of edge out that every little advantage that he can get. But we'll take a look now down towards the south as the reinforcements continue to come in. Capoche just under attack every single part of the map here. You can see all the farms he's tried to put up here. Villagers looking to actually break out on this northern side. You can see the walls going down very slowly, but hey, you know, it's better slow than never. Better slow than not. I don't know. But still no shattering projectiles coming through, but we do have our first trebuchet coming out of the game. So it's great to see the trebuchet making a return to power. And crossbow going to be doing it as well. And it definitely coming up at the same time. And now up towards the north, it looks like villagers going absolutely ham, looking to try and wall this in before it gets too serious. It looks like there's a bit of a gap in between the edge of the map over on towards this north side and the cliff face underneath here. But we'll check in with Lucifron and see how he's doing a bit later, because down on the south side, he is continuing to harass his opponent. The Regnit's not looking pretty right now. Bombard's slowly moving forward, slowly creeping forward with the Trebuchet in support here. Now, keep in mind, there's a significant range difference between these two. You've got 10 range on the Bombard, 16 range on the Trebuchet. Look how much damage this bad boy does to buildings now. That's pretty impressive. He does 550 versus buildings every 12.5 seconds, I think that is. Versus the Bombard, which does 510 every 5 seconds. So it does much higher DPS. I think it's about 3 times the DPS of a Trebuchet. But obviously not as much range, nowhere near as much range. Continuing just to shut this down. No mangonels still coming out from this. I mean, at this point, you could have just gone mangonels with spears and you would have shut this down so long ago. And it's painful that this attack has been in here for so long and still hasn't been shut down. And units continue to flood through. I mean, at least we assume that they continue to flood through. The floodgates of the open at the front have been closed, but the back door is still wide open. But now we'll take a look towards the base of Lucifron. There was an attack that was in here. It's now been shut down. Lucifron is stabilized completely. Bombard's slowly pushing away at the front, and it feels like this game is slowly but steadily falling out of the hands of Capoche. He was in a great position. He managed to survive the early game. He was walled in completely. He captured 3 relics. He then managed to go and even get a 4th relic, but the failure to wall was really what cost him the game. The fact he was never able to stabilize, never able to get that big food economy that he wanted. He wasn't able to get up to the 4th age as quickly as he should have, able to get that big economy, and it's all been because of Lucifron and his delaying tactics. So really well played from Lucifron up until this point, but I'm curious to see how it continues to unfold as the Lance Connect's coming up, because if Capoche manages to pull something out here, I'm going to be impressed, but I really feel like at this point in time, I don't think there's any way that he can. Castle now going to be coming up, or keep going to be coming down on the back line. Bit of an attack towards the front as well. Lucifron looking to put the hurt on. And one of the interesting things to note with Lucifron is the way that he is playing it very methodically. So typically you would see players, when they've got their siege, they would really start adding in a lot of siege. You would see 6 trebuchets, 7 trebuchets, or, you know, 4 bombards, 5 bombards. We've all seen those games where, you know, Beastie's played China and he's made 14 bombards. But Lucifron here, just sticking with it, nice and simple. 1 trebuchet, 1 bombard. I'm just going to be using them to kill walls. I like it. I think it's smart. Very methodical playstyle from him. Slowly pushing up, you know, taking his time with it. But it looks like finally, this attack may be cleaned up. I love those big swings coming out from the lance connects. Managing to connect pretty well with their swords there. Men-at-arms forcing that men-at-arm of his opponent to run around in the other direction. Look at how big that sword is as well. That is a big bloody sword. You wouldn't want to fuck with those guys. It kind of looks like Ronald McDonald. Oh my lord, it's Ronald McDonald, the German version. Das ist mein Hamburger. I've never heard a more relevant quote. Oh, jeez. I'm sorry, my German friends. Is that twice I've apologized to you guys in the same game? Oh, gosh. You guys really are the butt of my jokes. It's fortunate that I'm traveling to Germany in the coming weeks because you guys will get your chance to have... you'll get your chance to have yours, don't worry. But now the push beginning to come in from Lucifron. At the same time, neutralizing what appears to be some significant villages up here towards this northern position. A lot of resources being taken. And now a significant push going to be coming in. Lucifron trying his best to finish off his opponent. But at the same time, I mean, Capoche just once again getting funneled in. We talked about this constantly throughout this game. When you are fighting with a big melee army, do not fight around these buildings unless you are actually a micro god. What do I mean by that? I mean, you want to be attacking from all these different angles. You want to be coming in from all these different angles like this, because if you do not, you're just going to get funneled into one of these little buildings. And now you can see he's actually into open ground, and this is exactly what he wants. He wants to have good surface area here. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't have a lot of units. You can see Ronald McDonald not having a lot of success here against the blue shields of his opponent, and it means that he's not going to be particularly successful on this front. Lucifron still sitting on 200 population at the moment, 133 villager count. His opponent, Capoche, sitting on 102, so unfortunate for Capoche. He tried incredibly hard this game, a valiant effort from Capoche, and still he's going to be struggling to get any units out. Oh man, this is a tough game. You can see he's moved the majority. This is just so painful. He was getting raided so badly in his base that he's literally evacuated the villagers from his base out of his base because he was losing that many villagers from just keeping them in his base because he wasn't able to shut down the raids. And it all comes down like he would have been very easily able to shut down the raids if he just had that mangonel out. Kind of wild how much a mangonel can change it. But speaking of siege, we've got the bombard that's about to get taken out. So the only thing that remains is that catapult that's slowly but steadily going to be working on the buildings of his opponent. Now, keep in mind, emergency repair is a potential consequence of, or a potential factor when you're fighting up against the Holy Roman Empire, so you always need to be careful of it. But you can see the mass from Lucifron coming out here. It's incredibly large. He's starting to stack up resources. It's at this point you want to start deleting villages. So often people will say to me, Drongo, what's the optimal amount of villages? And the truth is, it depends. If you've got no military, then 200 villages. So basically, you want to make it so that your villages are, you've got as many villages as possible, and you're making military. And once you get to this point where you're sitting on maximum military, or maximum villages, or maximum population rather, this is where you can start deleting your villages. So if you were Lucifron right now, you would go, all right, these guys, delete. 15 villages, just get deleted. And then you would turn those into military. And then once it gets to the point where, your economy starts failing a little bit, when you're unable to reinforce your soldiers on the front line, then you can maybe switch it around. But ideally around 120 villages is where you would want it to sit. But you can always come in above that as well in the lead up to it. You can always go below that when you've got a lot more you've got a lot more resources in the bank. Another raid now coming through, breaking through onto the back line. Lucifron just being so annoying with those units, continuing to funnel them in towards the backside. We'll do a quick stock take. I want to see exactly how many production buildings he's got. 42 production buildings, all of them queued up with units. He is just rallying units at this point. Really needs to get in a bit more siege, though. That's something I would love to see out of him. So he's got the trebuchet at the moment. We talked about this a bit earlier. He lost the bombard. And once you lose the bombard, you need to get a new bombard out. So hopefully there's another bombard on the way. There she is. So the new bombard is on the way. Yeah, it's the consequence of only running a few siege units is that it's going to take a lot longer for you to get through this. Lucifron still yet to really take out his opponent or put any nails into the coffin. He's having a fair bit of trouble. Capoche here going to be trying his best to stabilize here at the backside, just throwing down a whole bunch of barracks. And we've got, how many barracks? 11 barracks. That is a fair amount right there. Looking to actually take out that counterweight trebuchet. He recognizes that by taking out the siege, I stop the push from happening. And he's really fighting for his tournament life here. You can see how valiantly he really wants to win this game and how much he is fighting. But unfortunately, not having a lot of success. But villagers now coming forward. 4 villagers meeting their maker. Unfortunately, that is a bit of a weird bug. Hey, devs, can we add that to the meeting on Tuesday? I don't need to say any more. I mean, like, yeah. Now the big push going to be coming in. Lucifron is looking to really start putting the nail in. We'll check out how he's doing. He's got so many resources back here. I don't know why either A, he's not deleting villages, or B, why he's not bringing more up to the front. Try and finish him off, throw down a few castles. I guess the one way I would look at Lucifron's play, methodical. Like, I've mentioned it a couple times, the way he plays with just limited siege. I think it's very methodical. Slowly pushing up, slowly closing out the enemy from outside, you know, the areas that he doesn't want them to be, and then working towards that base. But now going to be moving towards that keep. And we'll have a look towards the back of the base now, coming in for Capoche. You can see he's trying his best to put down a siege workshop as well. No resources whatsoever here for him. He's on 100 villagers. It's just not enough. Ideally, if he was on 160 villagers right now, he'd be able to get out a lot more units. But you can see he's got a 1,000 gold per minute coming in from the Regnits, but it's just not enough at this point in the game. He needs to get out of the map. He needs to get onto those gold mines, but absolutely no gold mines spawning up towards the north other than this gold vein. So doesn't really have control of it. The gold vein in the front of his base, which exists, unfortunately, it's got a giant castle on top of it, and it looks like Capoche continues to struggle. Longbows and crossbows working together in tandem, at least it appears to be, firing down upon the men-at-arms and doing an incredibly good job as well. We'll switch over to the perspective of the men-at-arms, and you can see just how much health they're losing and just getting completely destroyed. Looks like we've got a bit more siege now coming through. Is that a triple bombard? Oh, baby, a triple. All right, and this is where the game is surely going to get called because there's so much siege in here that you're able to force your opponent's hand. And when your opponent doesn't have the ability to reinforce, that's really what makes the difference. So you want to be sitting on their production, and he's been doing that for a lot of this game. You can see there's a huge amount of production out here, but the production in the back is really where he wants to be hitting. Bombard's continuing to move up, focusing down these siege workshops as well. Lucifron continues poking towards the base, finding those 3 relics. He's not interested in those. He's just interested in killing villagers and killing his enemy, Capoche. Capoche continuing to struggle. Up towards the north, Capoche actually dropping down a castle or a keep. All right, fair enough. Each to their own, I guess, Capoche. Hey, respect to the guy. He's fighting on a lot of different fronts. Landmark does go down. Regnitz Cathedral no longer going to be providing gold over to the Holy Roman Empire. And you know what they say about the Holy Roman Empire? Without the Regnitz, they are dead. I was trying to think of like a word that starts with R or rhymes with Regnitz, but like you try and find a word that rhymes with Regnitz. Like there are 6 words in the English dictionary that don't rhyme. Orange, purple, Regnitz, and I mean they're the 3 that you need to know. I guess you could say like Regnitz, Schmegnitz. Doesn't really work though. Like Regnitz, Schmegnitz. But now Lucifron gonna be falling back here. You can see the men-at-arms slowly pushing out. I think I heard another landmark going down. We'll switch it over to the landmark tracker. You can see Capoche has actually only got 1 landmark left. He taps out. He says, "Please don't kill my last landmark. She was the youngest. She was the prettiest. She was the one that I needed the most." Unfortunately, Lucifron victorious. Capoche tapping out. Fellas, I hope you've enjoyed this casted game. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye, Swabia.